How can you make me co-host?
Okay, let us start. We're live, but I have some issues with the live. We will just record it and we can upload it later.
It's going on YouTube, right? It says like didn't upload. Or whatever is comfortable. I think it's working. I can see it.
Oh, it's coming in live?
It's coming. Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can start.
No, I see it's scheduled, but it is not coming through.
No, no,
So,
I see it. I see it. It's coming like Karunala Durgam's live,
okay.
but it may be in a different live link probably. No worries. I think we can start. Can you make me co-host? Share music. Let's start the session. So the third chapter is sorry, we are in the fourth chapter. So the fourth chapter is name is blinding promises. So when we read, I got a different understanding about blinding promises. But the more we read, that we will know what it means. So this is a very huge chapter. Like it has some 3 or 4 pages. It talks about our experiences. Like imagine if you are a person and you go through few 3 4 situations. Um, so I'll quickly read through. Yeah, in this, the first situation is that you will go to a hike and you wanted your friend to be with you, so you both can talk together, talk each other, have a good time together. Okay, but then after you reach there to the point of hike and you are calling your friend and your friend is not answering. You tried to call the friend for another 2, 3, another 10 minutes, you did not get answer. After 10 minutes, you get a reply saying that, sorry, not today, I want my me day. And so you're so frustrated. You're frustrated, angry, you're bummed. You still want to talk, but you think I'm taking off and I'm going on to enjoy every moment because you're angry on that person. You decided that okay, let me go hike by myself. I don't need to talk to that person. And then you just go on because you are angry. Then, once you start hiking, you realize being in that nature, very close to that nature, looking at that beautiful plants and flowers and walking on the mud, and in that beautiful scene, listening to the beautiful rivers flowing, birds chirping, insects going around, then you realize that perhaps you're being saved from negative energy. When you return to your car, you're feeling good. So you realize that okay, me being by myself and me going alone on the hike was the best thing that has happened today, because if you had had the other person, you would not have enjoyed this beautiful hike. You would have been drenched in negative energy. Okay, so this is the first scene. In that evening, throughout the week, you mull over what happened, however. So you still did not let it go, because your ego is still acting. It is still telling you that okay, that person ditched you, that person did not come along. Okay, then you think that why, what happened, why I was left alone on that day. But after some time, you let it go. Okay, there is a little frustration, but then you accept the fact that okay, this happened, and you let it go, right? So what happened in this situation? Why were we frustrated? It's a very beautiful explanation that is given here, my dear friends. I think this is the most important takeaway from this chapter. Okay, you in such kind of similar situations, you not only made an agreement with your friend, you also made a promise to yourself of how your hike was going to be. This again connects back to our first chapter of accepting the unknown, because we have already visualized, we have already made an agreement, we already decided that this is what is going to happen. Okay, you also made a promise to yourself of how your hike was going to be, visualizing it, mentally repeating conversations. So you went to the future, you did that. Okay, now when the agreement did not play at all like your unwitting promise, okay, unwitting is not aware of the full facts. Okay, listen to it. Unwitting promise is not aware of the full facts. So you don't know. Your logical mind, your mind that is connected to this local consciousness, it doesn't know all the facts. Okay, without knowing all the facts, we made an agreement with the friend or with that situation that we will do something together. Okay, so when the agreement did not play at all, it didn't work like your unwitting promise. So it didn't work like the promise that we did for ourselves. You reacted negatively and became discontent. That's the reason why you become discontent. So you sowed the field of your mind to reap discontent again and again whenever this incident arose in your mind. This is what is happening always, why we are living in negativity, we are living in discontent. Every moment, what you feel inside is that. Masters, when I read this, it's like a revelation for me. Why? Because being being a volunteer or being a meditator, you are so encouraged, okay, inspired to do so many things. You want to do this, you want to do that, you want to lead a meditation, you want to do unified, you want to read a book, you want to do something. You are so inspired to do, because with your local mind, even it is a good thing, with you are doing an unwitting promise. You don't know, with the limited knowledge that you have, you don't know You want to get into, you got into so many agreements, and then now that each agreement which is not working out is reaping, I mean, you are plowing the field in your mind of discontent for every agreement that didn't work. Okay, I decided that I wanted to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. I could not wake up. I sowed the discontent, okay, the seed of first discontent. Since morning, it didn't work out. Okay, I am late to my morning meditation. Number two, then I could not sit completely. I was not aware completely during the meditation, 1 hour meditation. Discontent number three, then whatever I planned to cook for the day, it didn't work out for some reason. Discontent 4, I am late to office. Discontent 5, you keep on building these discontentments and going into that negative track, negative. Though, okay, fine, though I am a meditator, but what am I doing? And you did not, your submission is not ready for today for some reason, because of all these things. It's like a rolling um, roller coaster, right? It's like accumulating all. By the end of the day, you come home, your kids are doing play, your kids are cranky or not supporting you, they are not listening to what you're asking to do, right? Like discontent number, I don't know how many, 150, 150. And that's how you sleep. And with that heavy burden, when you sleep, you're already tired, and then by end of the day you want to read a book and sleep. You can't even complete one page. You cannot focus. You're already tired. Your eyes are closing off. So you just go to bed with that very heavy heart, deep heart. And then even in the dreams, even in your sleep state, you're not achieving what you wanted to do. You're not aware. So it just accumulates, my dear friends. So the first seed that you are sowing, even on in the day, make sure that it's not, I mean, just accept, okay, whatever it is, that's fine. Let's just move on. Okay, so you blinded yourself to the reality that did arrive, right? So that reality, we blinded ourselves to the reality. That is the blinding promise. That is the unwitting promise that we are doing every day to ourselves and to the situations. That is what is the blinding promise that we should be aware of. Regardless of how wonderful or frustrating the experience might have been, it could not come to pass just as you envisioned it. It didn't work as you envisioned it. With invigorating exercise, commuting with nature, sharing your news, right? This is what he's talking about, the first situation where he was, that person, where you as a person went for a hike. Unwitting, blinding promises you make with yourself, so discontent. So discontent. So they are the seeds. They are the crops that grow in discontentment within ourselves. So this is the first situation. The second situation, the next week, is really tough. You're exhausted, scattered, relieved. The weekend is here. You have no plans this Friday. So then you decide you wanted to make time for yourself. Right now, that friend is not there with you anymore. So you wanted to have an evening of indulgence with a luscious dinner plus dessert and a great music, followed by a movie you have been wanting to see. That's what you wanted to do. Okay, you prepare the food, you heat the oven, you and midway to reaching the temperature, the power goes out. Surely you can't believe it. You think of going out to eat and catching a movie somewhere that does have power, but then you realize the garage door won't open. You can't reach the release cord that hangs over your car in your old house. You are a captive. With the flashlight in your phone, which is running out, you find a few candles, finally, a packet of matches. Light the candles, power off the phone, which now you must carefully husband because there is no power, right? And you pick up some snacks and chips and wonder how you're going to spend the evening, right? With the evening you planned, precisely imagined, ardently embraced, and enthusiastically looked forward to, you made an ironclad promise to yourself. That is the promise that you gave it to yourself. Your vision blinded you to the fact that the actual living of this planned evening could not be your expected physical, emotional, and mental experience. So, your higher self has grand plans. Your higher self, so you wanted the evening to be yourself. Look at the intention and look at the thought. How intention works and how thought works. So when you visualize, you visualized few things with your limited mind. So for you, indulgence or being with yourself is eating some nice food, watching a nice movie that you wanted to watch, right? And that is what is your time spent for yourself. But watching movie, is that time spent for yourself? No, you are just watching something. It's just an entertainment. You are not spending time for yourself. Eating food is feed food for your mind, food for your stomach. In fact, actually, it's food for your mind, not for your stomach. And watching movie is also for your mind. So it's not your me time. But how your higher self decided that there is no power, so there is no media, there is no food. You are just spending time for yourself, right? Without without Wi-Fi, without media, and without your phone. And that is the absolute time spent for yourself, right? So with the evening you plan precisely all that is done, right? So subsuming the plan into your mental field as a false future reality, you sowed the field to reap discontentment again. So now, because all this happened and you imagine something else and something else is happening, you will start sowing that, you will reap that discontentment. So the discontentment started when your friend did not um, come to the hike, right? So it started there, and now you are reaping it. Okay. So rather than calling or checking the website of the park, okay, all that is fine. And then what you then you decided that okay, you cannot go out or you cannot do anything. So you just started to feel good. You have lit the candles. You searched. Yeah. So you see, yeah, and then you ignored. Feeling it's worth a try, you run to the bath, throw a bubble of bath salts out. See what you did. You have cleansed yourself. Feeling it's worth a try, you run the bath, throw a bubble bath salts, and there's just enough hot water to get in. Immerse yourself and let go. Yes, this is the perfect way to de-stress then that you might have felt, right? The next weeks you meditated at times about okay, now this is the scene two. That's what you did. And in the next weeks, you realize that these incidents, you had a choice about becoming discontent, but you did not. You picked up that option of finding finding contentment and feeling good and accepting that situation. Okay, so no agreement or plan you make with others or yourself is bound to be realized as you imagine it. Underline the word imagine it as you imagine it. It is not mandatory that this agreement will come to play as you imagined it, because you are not there living through it. They are projections of how you think or what you want your life to play out at the time you accept or embrace the agreement or plan. So, right, they are the projections of how you think, but they are not your intentions. Remember, my dear friends, they are not your intentions. It's just the projection of your thought. It's just a thought. Okay, so but once it doesn't happen, and then you realize that you accept and embrace the agreement, whatever the agreement is, because the intention is more important than your thought or vision. Okay, so the will of goddess is sweet, right? It has a higher purpose. So now you realize, okay, your higher self have a different purpose, and then you accept. Remember the saying, do your best and leave the rest. You aim to endeavor to that. Okay, so the moment you accept, you will know that this is the best that could have happened, and you let it go. And now this is the next. See how the author is taking us through few scenes which are telling us, which are showing how we learn by ourselves through our experience, how we evolve when we are connected within ourselves, how we realize when we accept what we are receiving. Okay, how we learn out of all these things. So in the next month, this person goes and meets a dear dearest not sibling, cousin. Okay, so this cousin has a new baby born, and because that cousin is very dear to you, you are so excited to meet this baby. When you go meet this baby, she bursts out into tears. She says that this baby has a condition called critical congenital heart defect, and then she needs a surgery within a year, and then you don't know how many more surgeries she will need. And and you listening to this, you are devastated. Then this is what comes out of your head, that babies are innocent. Okay, so babies are innocent, right? Why is all this is happening? Life is unfair. My cousin is such a good person, and this baby just came into this world. She is with a blank slate, right? It's too unfair. Life is unfair. This is what you think. Okay, in the next few days, you feel frustrated, you feel disheartened, discontent, okay, at this loss. Life just doesn't make sense, right? There is a lot of injustice, inequalities here, iniquities here. Okay, it's not just a random biological lottery, right? The doctors say that it's just random, it just happens to 1 in 1,000 people. But we know that probability it just doesn't happen by chance, right? We understand that there is a reason why some things happen. So in this chapter, at this point of time, we are not we don't know the scene yet. So you feel like you want to look for answers, you search online, you starting with why babies are born with all these defects, and you get answers that it happens to one. It could be because of um, it could be because of genes, or it could be because of the of a variety of genetic and environmental factors contribute this, but there is no root cause, specific reason for why this kind of conditions happen to kids. Then you still think that, okay, there should be a real why reason, why is this happening? And the next morning you wake up, and this word comes into your head called karma, and then you decide to explore what is karma. and you start doing go on Wikipedia, you go online to different sources. um, and then what you read is intriguing. You read more articles on you and on all these things, and then and then over in the next few days you think about it, and then you will know that karma is action, cause and effect, right? It's the only thing that makes sense. That's the only answer you could arrive at. And then you reflect on your own life, remembering an unexpected inheritance from an aunt you had who had 3 children. Okay, so you were surprised but also had the odd feeling that it was meant to be. So this person, um, like you, luckily you have inherited some property from your aunt. She has already 3 kids, but she gave all that property to you. Why? Because it is meant to do come to you. Why? Because it is karma. So was it the good karma? You started reflecting on. Also, the baby had a bad karma. That's why had this. She had this condition. And then one morning you wake up lying in bed. It comes to you that you want to let go of yourself. Okay, whatever it is, this is what is the fact, right? And you feel limited to yourself. You don't know beyond. You don't understand beyond. And then you wanted to relax. So you feel you in the dream, you saw a dream, and that you're coming out of a weird dream, that you're lying in a bed coalescing into wakefulness, and you realize you want to float in water. Okay, see how your higher self signals you, gives you a path for realization, for your questions. Okay, what happened actually is that this person is asking for answers. This person is searching for answers. Okay, while searching for answers, he understood karma. That is fine. He kind of got an answer. Okay, this is the karma. This could be a karma. Whether it could be a bad karma or a good karma, you don't know. And then you got a dream that you are floating in a water. Okay, so then when in the dream you saw yourself that you're floating in water, and then you decide that okay, let me go to, and based on that, okay, you felt that that you there is you want to go to, I mean, you want to go to a place where you can float in water. Okay, then you go to a lake. There is a lake not far away. Then you decide that there is a lake that's not far away. Let me go visit that lake. Okay, you go visit that lake, park your car, and then there are just few people about quietly kayaking and couple paddling the boat. The day is sunny and warm. Okay, so then you start floating. Then you took a boat and then you start floating. The floating is marvelous. You practically have the lake to yourself, and in the fullness of the late summer is you let go. You soak in the rays of the sun and your thoughts recede. You lose track of time. You're feeling good about it, right? A fresh breeze stirs you, and you look at the oaks and pines beyond the shore, standing their ground. There is so much suffering in the world. You want to be as human as possible. So then you see, if you get this feeling that, oh, there is a lot of suffering, and let me be just empathetical as possible to everyone, let me be understanding. So, and then your thoughts recede, and then you just accept that. Okay, you want to be as human as possible, and then you're back home. Weeks later, when the gracious Indian summer warmth has waned, now it's winter. Okay, now one day when you get the email, rather than throw away an envelope of coupons, you open it. You see there is one form on your car wash which you save, and near the bottom there is a coupon. Okay, now this is one more thing, that you got a coupon for a float center, it seems. So this float center is like an isolation tank. In the tank there is water with Epsom salt and other things. Basically it's just a cleansing place. It has water saturated with Epsom salt, so it's like a closed tank. You sit inside the tank closed. So this is a very beautiful experience. I wish I found something I could go. So you go there, you take an appointment, and then you insert your earplugs, climb into the pod. Okay, the pod closes. The saline water matches your skin inside. So inside that pot there is water. The sheer blackness seems endless. You rest and you rest your right hand on your tummy and your left over your heart and migrate effortlessly around the large tank. So inside that large tank you are floating now. You see, first your higher self has showed that you will float in a tank. Okay, you will float in water, and then your limited mind, with your limited mind, you thought that it is a lake, so you went to a lake uh, and you floated in the lake. You floated in the lake. It felt good, but it was not any revelation. Okay, it's not like a profound thing. Oh, I loved having it. You like it, but there was no um, wow factor. Okay, you accepted it and you came back. Now you got a coupon to this tank. Now see what happens. In this tank, you feel you rest. Okay, now you are floating inside this tank with this saline water. How you feel? The sheer blackness seems endless. You rest your right hand and on your tummy and your left over your heart and migrate effortlessly around the large tank. The silence is all embracing. You can feel your heart beating. It's like being in a womb. Listen to this, friends. You're sure this is far calmer than when you hung upside down for 9 months. Thoughts of your mother surface and you imagine them slipping through your head and the salts dissolving them. You're being rewombed. So look at the experience what he got. Now he or you or he, whoever um, is that you want to imagine here. So what happened is that inside the tank, he relived the experience of a womb, mother's womb. And when he is reliving the experience, he remembered what happened in his mother's womb. He said he felt that this particular place is much more calmer than that because when he was in the womb, the baby could read mother's thoughts. And he remembered all those thoughts, and all these salts in the tank dissolved all those thoughts. You are being rewombed. Okay, that's what happened. Now, remembering the lake, this is so different from the radiant rays streaming onto you. Okay, you understand that the belief that babies are innocent blinded you. See from there how many months it took for that person, for him to realize that babies are innocent is a blinding fact. Okay, from where and when did that come? Sometime in the scheme of your life, you promised yourself unwittingly that people come into this world with a blank slate. Never questioned, we just believed it. Never questioned. It was a default core belief. See, it was a default core belief. Now that promise has dissolved. You don't know what that sweet baby and her dear mother each did to sow and now reap these days of their lives. What did they sow in their previous lives or their agreement? We don't know. They reaped this situation when they came here, and looking at that, we don't know the past, we don't know the future. We just declared that babies are innocent and life is unfair. You don't know what's arriving in your life, right? And it's scary and adventurous to not know what's coming and from what action you're reaping today, the next day, and the years to come. So, what is happening today, we completely are unaware of. We don't know. You can only do your best accepting the so-called reality of this life, that is only the melting edge of one iceberg among the infinite icebergs drifting in the unfathomable sea. So what we are bringing in, what is our sanchita? We don't know. What are we accumulating here? We don't know. What we know is that we are melting that iceberg of karma, right? So after realizing all these, and then you drift off to sleep, and then a soft music comes on, and then now you wake up, it's time to emerge. Showering off that salt solution, you feel content. From now on, you plan to be more aware, to not take anything for granted. Okay? Don't accept anything as it is. What is not taking anything for granted, my dear friends, is that these core beliefs. Okay, taking granted, accepting the core beliefs. Okay, you will question things, try to get to the source, accept what's now feeling, and knowing there's much more to life than what's seemingly apparent. What we see just on our face is the face value, is just that can be seen from our physical eyes. What is there beyond, we don't know. So, my dear friends, this is how he ends this chapter. So, three situations he talks about, and how we get answers to our questions, and how we are able to connect the dots. I felt like I had so many takeaways from this chapter. First one is that I understood how what is the reason for discontentment, and how am I unwittingly, without knowing the facts, getting into an agreement with a situation or with a person in the future that this thing is going to happen based on my imagination. So again, there what I understood is that my intention is what works out, but not my imagination that works out. For us to imagine it the right way as we intended, we really should be unified, mind, body, and soul unified. Okay? Then only we get the right thought. Otherwise, we may not imagine the right. We may not imagine the right way. So, and what works out always is the intention, but that agreement may not work out based on what we imagined, because we just imagine it's just a projection and it's not the reality. The next point that I understood is that I have to accept and let go, and do not reap discontentment when something doesn't realize as what I have imagined. Then, when I accept and go on, then I get answers for all my questions, for whatever has happened. And at every moment, I have a choice. I have a choice to choose to be discontent and to cry, or to let go and accept and be happy about it. Right? And the last point is that I do not accept the core beliefs. Okay? The core beliefs that have been, I have to question my core beliefs, and do not just come into, that's why Patri sir says, don't, no judgment and no, right? No comparisons and no judgments. So I do not come to a conclusion without knowing what is there behind the scenes, right? So I cannot judge, I cannot accept the core beliefs as it is without experiencing it. And I also understood that when I accept everything, and when I live in that acceptance, I get these beautiful experiences, okay, that a higher self would lead me to those answers in a very beautiful way than uh, me just living in that discontentment. Accept and allow all these things to happen in your life, my dear friends. So, what I read today is I mean, it's just like a 4 pages, but I have more than 10 takeaways. Such a beautiful chapter that I read today. I hope you all understood what I spoke. Um, and thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much. If you want to ask any questions or share anything, please go ahead. Otherwise, we can end the session. Thank you, Pushpa.
Thank you, Harika. Wonderful, wonderful, really wonderful. Like sometimes, like today, I'm taking kids' topic, and then the topic is power of thought, and then you have added the beautiful points to it, like intent and imagination, and how we have to be aligned with all of this. So, thank you so much. Yeah, I'll open for questions if anybody have any question. Thank you, Kavita Garu and Ratna Garu, for joining.
Yeah. Nice, very nice. I think we can end. It's already 8:06.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Pushpa. Thank you so much for supporting me.
Thank you for coming forward and doing this, Harika. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's meet next week, Harika, or
Sure. Yeah,
okay,
let's meet next week.
okay,
Yes. Yeah.
okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, Kavita Garu. Thank you, Ratna Garu.